Hello and welcome to Adventure Bike TV. Now, over the last few months, we haven't done a bike review on anything over 800cc, so we thought it was about time to go back to a bigger bike. And this bike has the biggest engine on any adventure bike we've tested so far. When you think through the way that most motorbike manufacturers these days create their current adventure ranges, you've probably got a 600cc bike in there somewhere, something around the 800, and then you've got the litre plus size bikes. Now, KTM don't like doing things the traditional way, so their current adventure range are all litre plus size bikes. You've got your 1050 Adventure, which you can ride on an A2 licence. You've got the 1190 Adventure, and if you want something that's a bit more off-road oriented with a bigger front wheel, you can get the 1190 Adventure R. Then in 2015, they introduced the 1290 Super Adventure. But the question is, how super is super? Does it really mean that this bike is super, or is it just big?
As you'd expect from a 16-gram bike, it is bristling with electronics. 4 riding modes which adjust the available power, the throttle response and traction control, but also the damping settings. And KTM's cornering ABS allows the rider to rely on it even when you're cranked over having a chat with the tarmac. Heated grips and cruise control almost seem like standard accessories these days. And for anyone that suffers from a cold and numb bum on the long winter trips, you've got independently heated front and rear seats. The looks, size and feel of the bike are very firmly in the super adventure world, which has been dominated by BMW's GS for so long. It looks like it would meet the GS in the ring on even terms, but the looks belie its fitness credentials as it only weighs 229 kilos. The slimline weight is helped by the trellis frame, which tips the scales at under 10 kilos.
When you get down to basics, this is a bigger bike. You get a 300-mile tank range and you get 10 more horsepower out of that slightly bigger engine than the 1190 Adventures. But there's a lot more to it than that. And our friends at the KTM Centre in Hemel Hempstead have invited us down to their new showroom with lots and lots of shiny metal to take it out for a test ride. Whilst I go off and get ready for the ride, I'm going to let Tom show you some of the best bits.
Any regular watchers of the show will know that I'm a big fan of the KTM 1190 Adventure R. It's my own bike of choice, but they'll also know that I really love the latest water-cooled GS 1200 Adventure. Very different bike serving different sides of the same adventure travel coin. On the face of it, the 1290 Adventure is squaring up firmly against the GS. It doesn't need to have off-road riding as its premier capability because the 1190 Adventure R does that perfectly well. But it does need to have long distance comfort, ride-in grin factor, and that slightly indefinable adventure touring je ne sais quoi that has encouraged so many riders over the years to choose the GS as a statement of their intention to adventure travel, whether they actually do or not.
Right, first impressions of the 1290 Super Adventure, and you can't help but make a comparison against the BMW GSA because they're both in the same league. And as soon as you pick it off its side stand, you can feel the difference in its weight, because it's about 30 kilos lighter. But once you get out on the road, the biggest comparison I can make is probably against the 1190 Adventure, as opposed to the 1190 Adventure R, because it's got a 19-inch front wheel rather than the 21 you get on the Adventure R, and you can feel the difference in the handling. It goes around corners beautifully. One thing that really struck me was the active suspension. You could feel the difference between comfort and sport, and I was playing with it as I was riding along. In comfort, pull away hard, the back sinks down a bit, brake hard, the front sinks down. Put it into sport mode, everything tightens up, and a pure pleasure and joy to ride around the corners. But I did want to mention the looks. Now, we've had quite a few people write in on Adventure Bike TV saying, oh, looks aren't important, it's about how it rides. And that is true, it's got to ride well, but I've never fallen in love with a bike that I don't love the looks of as well. I need to walk out the front door of my house, look at it, and it put a smile on my face. And I'm not quite sure this does that. We have had people, well, we've had one person write into Adventure Bike TV and say, we haven't really given a review where we talk about what it's like to be a pillion on a bike. So, Tom,
yeah,
how does it feel?
awkward.
There is a heated seat at the back. How does that feel now?
Really awkward.
KTM's latest 1.3 V-twin from the Super Duke R sits at the heart of this bike. Now, when KTM tell you the engine has been refined for adventure touring, they mean the cylinder head has been redesigned for more efficient combustion, that there's a new crankshaft and heavier flywheel to give a smoother response, and there's also a taller sixth gear to suit its touring. So more refined it may be, but that does not remove the class-leading and eyes pancaked against the back of your skull 160 brake horsepower. I know there are some out there that ask the question, why do you need so much power in an adventure bike? Because it makes it so much fun to ride. That's why.
I posed the question right at the very, very start of this test, is the 1290 Super Adventure super? Okay, well let's just pick them off one by one. Speed, it is blindingly quick. As I pulled on the throttle, it made me feel like I was leaving my legs behind, and it's hardly surprising, bear in mind it's got 160 horsepower. Handling, I thought it handled sublimely, and that's really helped by the semi-active suspension, which I think is the best I've ever ridden. The weight is 30 kilos lighter than the equivalent GS, and you really feel that as soon as you pick it off the side stand and start riding it. And comfort, it is really, really comfortable, and with the heated grips and the heated seat pad, which is a little bit odd, but really, really comfortable on a long trip. In terms of the looks, I loved it from the side, I loved it from the back. From the front, I'm still not convinced about those spotlights. But I guess the big question is, if I had to choose between this and the GS to put it in my garage, which one would I choose? Now, despite the fact that for a long distance tourer it's chain drive rather than shaft drive, I'd still choose the KTM. And that is high praise indeed, because you remember just how much I like the GS. I think I made it pretty clear what I thought of the 1290 Super Adventure, but we'd really like to hear what you guys think. So have you got one? Have you owned one? Have you test ridden one? Have we got it right? Have we got it wrong? Just leave your comments below. Now it's time for Top Tech.
Hi, I'm Dawn and welcome to this month's Top Tech. So this month we're going to be talking about buffs. I've got two types of buff. I've got the polar buff and I've got the normal buff. Everybody's heard about buffs, but what I'm going to do is go into a bit more depth and show you some things that you might not have seen before. Okay, so what we have here is the original buff. It's made from a microfiber material which allows sweat and moisture to escape through the inside out, but stops the elements from getting in. And what we have here is the polar buff. It has the same microfiber top, however, the bottom half is made from Polartec fleece. So let me show you how to use a buff, and I bet I managed to show you some things that you didn't know. So we're going to start with the original buff. You just pop it over your head, and it's a protective neck scarf. To move on from that, I'll just take my glasses off. Just pull the back of the buff over your head. And there it is, like a little old lady, and you can just pop your helmet over the top. You're not blocking your line of sight at all. So to give you a bit more protection, you just pull the front up from the neck, and it covers your mouth and your nose and keeps you warm. Just lift it off. You need to do a bit of maintenance on your bike. I'll just show you how to do a pirate's hat, which will stop the sweat from dropping down your brow into your eyes. Turn your buff inside out, put your hands through, grab each end, pull it through like that, grab the front, pop it over your head, pull it tight at the back, and then there'll be no sweat dripping down into your eyes. Now we're going to move into how to wear it as a beanie. Just undo it, turn it inside out again, give it a twist in the middle, just a couple of twists, pop one end over the top of the other, grab the buff and pop it over your head. There you have a beanie. It can also be used as a sweatband. Just pop it over your head like that and lift it up as a sweatband. If you want to do your makeup, you can use it as an Alice band, or if you've got nice long hair, you can use it as a scrunchie. Just pop it on the back of your head there. If you want to use it on your wrist so that you can wipe your head, you just pop it on your wrist there. So with the polar fleece, you can do everything that you can do with the original buff. However, you can get an extra warm hat. Grab the fleece, the polar buff, give it a twist and pop the microfiber section over the polar. Turn the bottom up and there you have a nice warm polar on the inside and microfiber on the outside. If you don't want to have polar against the skin because it's got a bit dirty, just turn it round the other way and you'll have the microfiber. To make it extra warm, turn it back the other way, turn up the sides, and then you've got 6 layers around the head and 2 layers on the top. As always, you can win this month's Top Tech. This month you get both items, the original buff and the polar buff, by answering the following question. Is the fleece on the polar buff made from A, Polartec, B, Polar Bear, C, Polar Ice, or D, Polo Mints? To enter the competition, go to the Adventure Bike TV website and click on the competition link. Thanks for checking out me in the buff on this month's Top Tech. I'm Dawn from Cotswold Outdoor and I'll see you next month.
Yes, yeah, we use that. Thanks for checking out.
Please don't forget that you can go to the Adventure Bike TV website and enter the competition to win whatever you've seen on Top Tech.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
My name's Chris Ireland. I'm better known as Desperate Dan from Desperate Dan's Custom Motorcycles. I used to build choppers and trikes. Now I'm into land speed record racing, and then God knows why, because I just fell off my bike on Pendine Sands. When I was a young lad, there was no such thing as a chopper, apart from in American magazines, and I was a paper boy, so I used to steal magazines from the paper shop when I was delivering all the others, and I saw these pictures of American choppers, so I went and built one. And then I found out that there was probably another half dozen people in the country that had also built their own choppers. So we went to a meeting at Santa Pod Raceway, which had only been open a year. And we're all sat there on our choppers, and people were coming up and taking photos and shaking our hands because we got one. Because the only bikes that had seen similar to that were in American magazines. Oh God, that's a terrific long story. I got this mate, and he'd been to see The World's Fastest Indian. And he watched the film, and he said, Burt Munro used to piss in his garden, he had chickens, he had an old shed, he had an old bike, and my mate said, I'm going to do that, and he went. I said, you'll never do that so long as you got a hole up your arse. Well, the next thing, he's brought me a picture of him back sat at Bonneville Salt Flats. And he's come down my shed, and we sat there and got drunk. And he said, I'm going next year, would you like to come and watch me race? I said, watch you race? I said, that, I'm racing with you. And I built a bike. And the next year, there I am, I'm at Bonneville. This is the same bike, but having been to Bonneville, I learned a load of lessons about aerodynamics and not falling off, and built this. This is a 74-year-old Indian, which is now supercharged, and it's putting out 3 times the power of the original engine. When I was 18 years old, I rode into my work, the garage where I worked, on my chopper, and this bloke said to me, I know where there's an old motorbike in a barn. So the next Sunday we've driven out there, and there's half a motorbike, and the farmer had cut the front and back off and made a trailer out of it. And we got the engine back, and I wiped all the mud and rubbish off it, and it said Indian on the side. Right, and I paid £10 for it. But from that day, I was hooked on Indians. You know, can I say on here? Yeah, yeah, the Harleys. Indian, and Indian were always faster than Harley Davidsons. But this engine is 64 years old. It started off as a chopper, and then it became a show bike, and then it became a trike. And then once I met Oz and decided to go to Bonneville, it became a salt racer. But it's definitely not a sand racer, as you'll probably see by the footage of me falling off it. We never actually came here just to do a speed run on the bike. We came here because we've got a load of mates with us. We come down in an old horse box, and there's 6 of us in it, and we've laughed all the way down here. We've met every other person I've met, I've shook hands with. You know, and it's camaraderie. It's not but the other thing is, it's like the old days at Santa Pod, when I first went when I was a 16-year-old. You get down on the start line, and the whole of the spectators are all stood around the bikes, which won't happen for much longer, I can guarantee it. They'll end up with barriers up and health and safety. At the moment, this is a new thing, and it's not being regulated. The whole weekend's been brilliant, not because I got the bike here, but because I'm here with my mates. And to fire up the bike, and you see like 10 people will leap backwards when it fires up and go, fucking hell. But it's not about the actual running on the sand, it's about being with your mates and And the whole place is full of sand racing bikes. It's a salt racer. It is built to go in a straight line. And when you race on the salt is like tarmac, right? So you can just launch and go. And yesterday, I ran it, and that was quite scary, because each time you open the throttle, the thing goes sideways. Today, I didn't even particularly give it any revs, but as soon as I did, the whole thing has gone sideways and fell on me. But the nice thing was, while I was laid there with the bike on top of me, it's still ticking over, so we know it runs all right on its side. But the whole weekend is not about just the bikes, it's about the people. Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, you look at the bikes that's here, and you've got a push bike that went faster than my Indian. You've got an electric motorcycle with a load of batteries in it. You've got people on road bikes, you've got people on purpose-built drag bikes. It's for everyone. Yep. It doesn't matter what you got. The other thing is that, like, some bloke turned up on this Honda 90 that's tuned to the hilt. I mean, it went faster than mine. But nobody laughed at it. Nobody said, God, he's got a Honda 90. People wanted to go over and shake his hand and say, nice one, mate. You know, you've done a good job on that. People came from France, Denmark. It's just a nice atmosphere. What keeps me doing it is not the bikes, it's the people. That's for definite. It's definitely not the bikes. I mean, the bikes are a mean to an end because you end up meeting the people. I mean, last night in the pub was absolutely amazing. You know, you meet that many people. Everyone seems to know each other. If they don't know you, they still come and shake your hand. You know, it's this like international camaraderie of biking. Well, this afternoon when I fell off my bike, that's only the third time I fell off a bike in my life. And once it's got me up, I'm thinking, right, I ain't going to race here anymore because it's on sand, but if I can get the thing back to Bonneville and race on the salt, which is like tarmac, then I'll be back on it again. But today I felt it was too dangerous. Something up here was telling me not to race. And when I fell off it, someone up there confirmed it. I've got a record that's held by a chap from Denmark, and I need to beat that. A supercharged vintage special construction. I bought the Speedo. That's about your lot. That's all that's off the shelf is a Speedo. and most of the pleasure is in building it. You know, and you're building it, and your mates come around your shed, and you have a few beers and do a few more bits on it. And oh, a supercharger would be nice on that. So you stick a supercharger on it, and the pleasure is, most of the pleasure in biking is your mates. Well, to me anyway. Some people are complete petrol heads, and all they think about is the bike. But mine is the bike and my mates.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
Now it's time for a break, and when we come back we're going to have Slimbo's superlative suggestions, Round the Bend in the USA and the Travel Journal. I wanted to announce Round the Bend in the USA in a singing voice, but Tom wouldn't let me, so here's Round the Bend in the USA.
My French straight. Hello, my name's Sam Manicom, and I'm standing in for Overland Junction's regular spot. I'm delighted to do it, Ian. Thanks very much for asking me. We are at Horizons Unlimited in Mariposa, and Mariposa is in the foothills of Yosemite, so it's an absolutely stunning area to explore. This is the best resource there is for anybody who's interested in hitting the long road. If you've never been to Horizons Unlimited event, then it's a fantastic experience, because all the classes, the training sessions, and the camaraderie of overlanders is absolutely fabulous. And it doesn't matter whether you've never been to an event before or you're a regular. You'll slot absolutely in, and you'll have a weekend of fun and learning.
Why am I going to Horizons Unlimited? It's the energy, man!
Welcome to the dark side.
Horizons Unlimited has seemed to me to be the best resource for overland travelers to come together, looking to gain knowledge and skills to make long distance motorcycle and overland trips much more accessible.
My name is Anya. I'm originally from Germany, but live in California now. And I've come to Horizons Unlimited for the first time, really thinking about taking my bike, particularly Central and South America, and want to get the chance to talk to somebody to hear their experiences. And I really enjoy the shooting range up there. It adds such a flavor.
Hello, my name is Alain, and originally from the French part of Canada. This is my first time doing a presentation, a little nervous about it. It will be talking about my travels through Aboriginal Australia. Looking forward to it.
My name's Paul Burbidge. I'm from sunny old England. I've travelled quite a lot on motorbikes. Spent 2 years living in Tanzania and 3 months riding around sub-Sahara Africa on a Chinese 150cc trail bike, which is not to be recommended. And I'm now riding a Honda Transalp. I've ridden that around 17 countries in Europe.
Fortunate enough in my lifetime to be able to travel. I did a 2.5-year trip around the world, 26 countries and 6 continents, and so I'm here at the rally to really share a couple of presentations and hopefully inspire people to think about life differently.
Yeah, I was riding on the Skeleton Coast, enjoying the beauty and looking at all the wrecks, and I crashed. And if it wasn't for the 8 fishermen that picked me up, it could have been a disaster. It was the beginning of a whole new adventure. Took me in and took care of me. It was amazing.
Hi, my name's Christina. I'm from Santa Rosa, California, and the reason I came to Horizons Unlimited is basically to get some meat on my bones. I don't have a lot of miles under my belt, so meet great people, get suggestions on my trip on the way to New York City, and yeah, learn a little bit more about how to stay safe and different destinations to go to.
So my name's Aaron Mitchell. I'm from England, and I'm here at Mariposa, the Horizons Unlimited event. It's my first event, which has been great because obviously I've travelled all the way from England. I've gone through Europe, Russia, Mongolia, shipped into North America, and I happened to be at the right place at the right time, so I thought I'd come along and check out the scene, which is fantastic.
This is my son, my dad. We're riding together today, actually this weekend. I'll let you tell them what kind of a ride you're on, though.
Yeah, so I'm actually out for a year, riding around the US and Canada. Been on the road for 8 weeks now, and I had to come down to Horizons Unlimited, the California HUBB meet.
G'day, I'm Anthony Julian from Melbourne, Australia, and my travels have been all around Central and South America the last 20 months. And the last 2 months of my leg is going to be in the States where I am now. And I've come to Horizons Unlimited because I was invited by Kobe and I met a cool bunch of people. It's a great place to be.
Hey, I'm Dave from Davis Travels, and we're here in beautiful Yosemite for the 2016 Horizons Unlimited Travelers meeting. And I'm here attending the weekend, having a great time on my way south to South America.
I'm Nicole Espinosa, and I'm the co-coordinator here at Horizons Unlimited California with Flip Morton. And I'll tell you, I got involved in this adventure motorcycle industry back in 2009. And what helped me to get involved in it is Horizons Unlimited. Grant and Susan Johnson they were the pioneers of this industry back in the 90s after they got back from their 10-year stint around the world. And I am so proud to be part of this because that's what these travelers do. Those who present and share their stories of worldly travel and how it has changed their lives, inspire others to do the same, to get off the couch and to see the world for themselves.
This just happened to be along my route for my own personal round the world trip. I'm about 5 months into my journey, and I'll be in Mexico next week heading south.
Hi, my name is Randy Perkins. I'm from Oregon. I've been going to Front Horizons since 2008 when I bought my first GS, and it absolutely changed my life. It made friends from all over the world, and it's hard to believe that the community from Horizons is such a gigantic part of my life and all my friends from all over the world, and I've only been doing it for 8 years. If anybody is out there that wonders what this is all about, just go. You'll find your soul, you'll find your heart, and you'll find people that love you for who you are.
My personal favorite is just hearing everyone's stories. Just fascinating group of people, and I enjoy every single time I get to hang out with them.
Hi, I'm Co Atterbury. I'm brand new to adventure riding. I'm from Oregon, and this is my first time at Horizons. And the one thing I can take away from it is after listening to all the seminars and the people speaking, it's a lot to think about. I'm definitely reevaluating my life, I think, at this point, and what I'm gonna do with the rest of it. So yeah, it's an amazing event.
Well, I hope you're feeling sufficiently around the bend, and speaking of around the bend, it's time for Slimbo.
Hello chums, and welcome to another episode of Slimbo Superfluous Suggestions. This month, guess what? We're going to find some amazing things that you can do with an empty milk carton. You can keep milking it for a start, but I know what, let's go and find out, shall we? Right, here we have our milk container. Doesn't contain milk anymore. We've been using it to transport water around from campsite to campsite. It's easily just a stick on the back of the bike or whatever. Now then, your batteries have gone. On your main torch, you've only got one left, but you need to light up where you're camping. Why not use this? Half fill that container with water. Take the lid off. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, one of these little torches are brilliant. Yeah, very, very cheap. They're almost throwaway. But if you've got a couple of these stuck in your bags, out the way, ready to go, this will help. What are you going to do? Is lower that. Turn it on first, Graham. And then do that up. And what have we got? Voila! An illuminated area. This will actually look brilliant. I say, it's surprising how the frosted plastic there diffuses the light and the water will reflect it. Now, there's another option you can do if you're really, really clever. Is if you didn't want to use your torch, take out. You could just have your container like this. Get your phone. Everybody's virtually got one of these days, he said. And then find your torch app. Funnily enough, I happen to have one here. Put that underneath. Now look at that. That, bang, immediately it's diffused the light and it's spread the light out. Instant lantern for your camp. Can't be bad, can it? As long as nobody nicks your torch. Right, chaps, get your bottle. Very simple, very straightforward. A cut across here, cut down either side, as you can see. And then remove this bit. This bit's no good to man the beast. What have we got? This is a great thing. Scooping up water out the river for your washing. You can use this for if you're in the darkest depths of the Sahara or wherever there's sand and you need to dig a hole. You know what I mean with your paper? Yes. Instant scoop, dig out that hollow hole, do what you need to do, fill it back in. Not a problem. And of course, if you're stuck somewhere and you've got to dig yourself out, this is what you need. Very simple, very straightforward. What a hack. Right, there you go, chums. One plastic bottle. Couple of uses. Now then, if you've got any ideas about what you think we could do with that plastic bottle, keep it clean, by all means, let us know. And if you've got any suggestions for Slimbo Superfluous Suggestions, by all means, use the email address on the website and we will try our best to do them for you. So we'll see you next month. Have fun.
So I think we can safely say that shone a light on some adventure hacks.
No puns.
Well, how about that illuminated the world of adventure hacks? Okay, so, well, that was just one of Slimbo's usual great adventure hacks. Now, it's time for the travel journal.
Afghanistan is over there!
There are 4,200 metres. We're just coming up to the Akbaital Pass, and that is China!
Magnificent, magnificent.
Mind-blowing.
Best chill yet, it was awesome.
You look all around you, mountains either side, and just everywhere you look. It's just breathtaking, I can't tell you. across that river. Didn't think I was going to do that, I have to say. I thought I was going to be turning around and going back. Really cool experience.
Probably the best 2 weeks of my life.
Best thing I ever did. Brilliant.
Lovely weather, lovely people. Couldn't be better. Champagne, marvellous.
So that was the show, and at this point in the month when we're filming, I actually haven't seen all of it, and not all of it's been made, so I'm not sure how good it is, but I'm sure if you don't like it, you'll let us know, because you normally do. Anyway, we'll see you next month.